Good morning. This is Jim McKinnon with Money Management. Hey, we're going to give you our second installment that we've been doing. I think you'll enjoy this today. It's scary. Folks, if this doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. It's called Canada's Tyranny Highlights Need for Precious Metals. And it's the fate of your money during the government overreach. And this is what actually happened in Canada. And Canada and the U.S. are very, very similar. If the Prime Minister of Canada can do it, Uncle Joe can do it. I guarantee you. All right, here's what they're saying. Last month when they had, when they had the Canadian truckers problem, and the truckers were protesting high cost of gas, or I don't know what all they were protesting, but so they formed lines, all the truckers, so they blocked the highway, and they tried to get them to move, and they wouldn't move, and they had all kind of problems. So the Prime Minister invoked something called the Emergency Act. And these are some of the powers that were in the Emergency Act. And I will guarantee you the U.S. has got the same exact deal. It allows him to take spatial temporary measures that may not be appropriate in normal times. But remember, this was an emergency, and it probably was. I mean, the trucks were blocking. You couldn't get into Canada, you couldn't get out of Canada, and it was a terrible thing. Now, here are some of the powers: regulating and prohibiting the public assembly, including blockades, protest, or dissent. He banned public assemblies that can reasonably be expected to lead to a breach of the peace. He said you can't protest. Now that's under the emergency powers. He said you can't protest. Fundamental right we got. He authorized the direct Pacific financial institutions to render essential services to relieve the impact of blockades, including by regulating and prohibiting the use of property to fund or support the blockades. He mandated banks and other financial institutions, get this, to freeze the accounts of individuals and corporations participating in the protest. So if you were participating in the protest about the truckers having to pay exorbitant fuel fees, he could freeze your bank account under the Emergency Act. Can't happen in the U.S., you're dreaming. You're dreaming. Certainly can. Not only did the federal government force banks and insurers to stop providing services to protesters, they also stopped the flow of over $10 million from a GoFundMe fund that had been sent up from people around the world supporting the truckers. So the truckers got a fund to support them. They got $10 million. He froze those. He froze them. Now, he says the Freedom Convoy reminds us that we should all be aware of the potential dangers of government overreach. It happened in Canada. It can happen in the U.S. Once a government takes away rights, restricts what was thought to be unrestrictable assets, and forces company to serve the will of the government, we should all pay attention. He says over the past 20 years that he's been in the financial industry, he's never seen a time where it's more important to have precious metals as part of your asset base. The government can't freeze that. They froze the bank accounts in Canada of people that were supporting the truckers. Your bank account can be frozen, but they can't freeze gold because guess what? There's no record. If you buy gold through me, you do not give your Social Security number. That's the only way the government can track you is by your Social Security number. Also, here's another point. I kind of hesitate to say this, but it's the truth. There's no record when you sell. In other words, you buy $100,000 worth of gold, you keep it for 10 years, whatever, it goes up to $1 million. There's no record. You turn around and sell it, you paid $100,000. You sold it for $1 million. That's a $900,000 profit. No record. Now, you certainly should report it to the IRS and Uncle Joe. Uncle Joe won't be around then, but whoever the president is, you certainly should report it and pay your taxes. But that's between you, nothing to do with it with me or the company that sells you the gold. There's never been a better time, never been more important to get yourself ready for this government overreach. We got so many problems we can't even think about. We can't even identify them all. That's not solvable. So folks, we got to get ready. And somewhere between 10 and 15% of your investable assets need to be in precious metals. So if you got 100,000 total investable assets, somewhere between 10 and 15,000. If you got $1 million, somewhere between 100 and 150,000. Call us. We can help you. Number 601-990-2102. This is Jim and Kim with Money Management. Have a great day.